Hello, welcome again to Diaspora Panel. Today, we're going to talk about a few things, but most importantly, we want to discuss the situation in Ukraine. And I have with me in the house, I have Mr. Ademola Adisa, who's based in the United Kingdom. Mr. Adisa, you are welcome to today's meeting.
Thank you for having me.
I also have Mr. Olatun Adedigba, who is based in America. Mr. Adedigba, you are also welcome.
Glad knowing you are there, our viewers.
And the last but not the least, Mr. Olalawal, who is based in Canada. You are welcome, Mr. Lawal.
Thank you for having me this morning.
Thank you, our viewers, for watching all our videos. We appreciate you. And for those who have not subscribed, we want you to subscribe to our channel. To subscribe, please go to youtube.com/Diaspora Panel. You can also go to www.diasporapanel.com. If you want to send us a message or an email, you can email us on info@diasporapanel.com. So today, as I said, we want to talk about something that is a very hot topic. We want to talk about the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. We know that Russia and Ukraine used to be in the former USSR, which is called the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, until the Union fell apart a few years back after Mikhail Gorbachev and Putin is policy of glasnost and perestroika. So after that, about 50 republics broke away from the Soviet Union, including the Republic of Ukraine. And thereafter, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, popularly called NATO, they have been expanding their boundaries. They have been, accommodating more countries into NATO. And Russia is not very happy about this. Eventually, Ukraine, which is very closely related to Russia, applied also to become a part of NATO, and Russia is not very happy. But the situation with Ukraine is very, very complex because Ukraine can be divided into two ethnic blocks: the Ukrainian blocks on the west and the Russian-speaking bloc on the east. Now, the Russian-speaking bloc wants to be part of Russia, or they want to be Russian-oriented. They want to be closer to Russia. The western part of Ukraine wanted to be westernized. They want to go towards the west. And this is where the problem is. Very lately, what has happened is that there's been ethnic tension, and the new president of Ukraine has not helped matters. They have tried to now Russify Ukrainize the whole country by renaming street names from Russian to Ukrainian, and trying to pursue some policy that seems to remove the Russian culture from the country. And this has not gone well. But by and large, the end game is that Russia has moved away from threats to carry out, their invasion. So Russia has now invaded Ukraine, and there's a lot of war now going on. We don't know what is going to happen next. We don't know what is the end game. So I'm going to allow the panelists to talk about their impression. I'm going to call on you first, Mr. Adisa. What do you make of the Russian threat in Eastern Europe, in general? What do you make of that threat, and especially the invasion of Ukraine?
Thank you very much, Deji. The invasion of Ukraine is very much unnecessary. And the demand of Russia, there's no way that it can be met in any way. Historically, as you said, Ukraine used to be part of the USSR. And since the devolutions of the USSR and other countries within the USSR have become independent and have become independent nation, they have tried to foster their own way, to the displeasure of Russia, because it's now seen Russia, losing influence within its area, the so-called area of influence, with some former members of the Social Republic and Soviet Republic. So in essence, according to Putin, his grievance with the West is that they are renegated from the agreement that when Russia was dissolved, that the expansion of NATO will not embrace the members of the whole Soviet Republic, and which NATO is saying no agreement of any sort like that. Now, the basic thing is Russia want to claim the old glory of the Soviet Republic and empower to become a superpower, which the West have indulged because they don't want to scare any problem. They want to bring him into the whole community of nations as an equal, which they have never been equal. Russia is not USSR. USSR is much mightier than Russia. But losing those influence, Putin becomes much of a dictator, not relying on anything. He wants to build back the whole Soviet Republic and get back all those members of the USSR into his area of influence back. It's not that is the contention of the problem now. How we resolve it, how we get there is another story.
Thank you very much. Shukwa, Ukraine is an independent country that can do whatever it like with its sovereignty. Can decide to go to the West, to go to the moon, to go anywhere they like. How can another country tell you you cannot join NATO, you cannot join European Union, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. If you do it, I will invade you. If you talk too much, I will invade Poland, Finland. I will press the nuclear button. What do you make of Vladmir Putin?
Thank you very much for having me. I think, I always liken relationships between countries to relationships between individuals, because at the end of the day, countries are entities, just like people. And, when you look at it from that perspective, somebody telling somebody else, you must be my friend, whether you like it or not. And, by the way, you cannot be a friend of so-and-so. It's almost like telling people who they should be, how they should live, which is not in accordance, with normal norms. I think even God, who created heaven, the heavens and the earth,
give us a will.
Choose today, who you will follow. He said, choose. So the right to choice is a fundamental human right. And as individuals in a country have that right, so also sovereign countries have that right. My own approach always is to use, incentives. You can talk to countries that we have concerns. These are our concerns. While we cannot tell you, who to join and who not to join, how can we both work together to allay our own concerns and at the same time, have you, maintain and choose who you want to be. So, and there are many ways and many options in which, I believe Russia could do that. Russia, for example, could offer pseudo financial incentives, much cheaper gas, for example, for Ukraine, or any of these other breakaway republics that actually will keep them more connected to Russia. And by so doing, will have a much better integration amongst those countries while maintaining their sovereignty. So for me, I always believe incentive is a much better approach to achieving an objective than force. I think, I would agree that using incentives takes a lot longer, maybe takes a lot longer time, and requires a lot of patience. People who do not respect other people's wishes aren't that patient. All they think and want is their own wishes. And, if they think time is, kind of getting too long, what do? They cut it short and impose their own wishes on other people. And I think that is what we are seeing playing here.
Thank you.
No country should tell any country who and who not to join. And irrespective of whether, Ukraine is in a different position, we should understand that wherever, Russia's territory and influence ends, will border NATO at some point.
Yeah,
that's the factual truth. So where is this going to stop? It's not going to stop anywhere. I think this is wrong, and I think this is not something that the whole world should stand by and just wait and watch happen.
It's condemnable. Olaita,
Yes.
I want to bring it back home.
Okay.
Ukraine have only 2 tribes.
Okay.
Can't manage it. Nigeria has about 300 tribes, and we are managing. So, do you not think that we are trying in Nigeria to be able to manage 300 tribes when in Europe they can't manage only 2 tribes? What do you think?
Yeah, you are saying a highly fundamental things on Nigeria issues. But are we really managing Nigeria? Are we managing Nigeria where? Right, you see, the Northerners, they are invading Nigeria. So, they are invading the South. They are bringing their people in 200 and 500 every day. So we don't manage Nigeria. That is not the way to manage the country. Be as it may. The issue of Russia, don't let us forget, when Gorbachev was there, this guy was in the intelligence. Putin was in the intelligence. He believes that what Gorbachev did, allowing the Western world to disintegrate Russia, it wasn't happy. Ever since then, he have been thinking, okay, if I get there, this is what I've been doing. When some of my younger ones, they were in Russia, they said this guy is devilish. He's the devil. He intends taking back all those countries that have the US, the Western world, they are. Because in the 70s, 80s, early 80s, Russia and China, they are the superpower. It wasn't like some people like America. But America came there and they disintegrate the country little by little, little by little, little by little. And now, this guy now believes, okay, this is high time. And he's threatening everybody, okay, if you mess up, this Western world, the NATO, all this one, if you mess up, right? I will
press nuclear button.
I will press nuclear button, so I will destroy the whole world. So, but my prayer is that the guy should be caged. Like Putin should be caged before he did. He does.
Before he destroys the world.
Yeah, he destroyed the world. So that is my thing. And Nigeria, I pray Nigeria come back to their senses. We ruled by somebody with high intellect who can join us together. Where we see ourselves as one and only one country.
Thank you, Clayton. Demola, when you look at the statistics, I've seen it on YouTube, I've seen it on BBC. Russia appears to be the most powerful country in the world. They have more tanks, they have more submarines, they have more fleets, they have more aircraft, they have more land soldiers, they have more of everything that any country in the world. Maybe a little bit less than China, I'm not very sure. But how mighty is Russia compared to NATO forces?
Let me correct you. Russia is not the most strongest country in the world. The whole world put together does not have 50% of the arsenal that America has. That is how powerful America is. The budget of America is swallow up all the budget of or the whole world altogether. Not just Russia or China or whatever. None of them have the arsenal that America has. But as you are talking about people that make noise about their arsenal, America don't make noise. They don't talk, they act. And it is when you step on them that they show you what they have. China, Russia have been displaying their arsenal and brandishing their gun or whatever, and thinking that they have. They don't have much. Most of even what they have are copied from America. Now, let's forget that. Now, the most important thing is, why is Putin behaving in this way? It's just purely for power, self-interest, not national interest. He's not doing it for the glory of Russia. It's for him. He is caged in one way because he has empowered so much power himself that he cannot relinquish that power. Relinquish that power today, it will be nobody. And he will be called to order for all the atrocities that he has performed. That is why he wants to stay in power perpetually until he dies. So that is what the future of dictators. They abuse power to extend that they cannot do without it. And that is what he's doing. He's brandishing all these things and thinking that he has everything he can dominate. And the West and the world have been tolerating for too long. It's now our time they let him know, cut him to order. Why he was succeeding before is the level of nuclear arsenal that they have. And the world doesn't, one nuclear bomb is enough to destroy the whole world. And the rest of the world is trying to have a deterrent, because for world to be in peace, that nuclear should be a deterrent, it should not be the weapon of war, to discourage war. Now, is brandishing it now doesn't help either Russia or the world. He can only eat one country at a time, or 2 or 3 countries. One will come to him as well. So it will be a self-destruction. Nobody else can use nuclear power now without that country also being destroyed.
Okay, Demola, let me pause you a little there. Let me pause you a little. I can see that Shukwa has something to say. But Shukwa, I have a question for you. During the Second World War, we saw Hitler. First of all, he said that there are some Germans, they call them Sudetenland Germans, who are in Czechoslovakia. He said that they are Germans, he wants them to unite them with Germany. He took them, he took that territory, nobody talked. Next, he said that there are some Germans in Poland, what we call the Prussian corridor. He took them, nobody talked. And one after the other, he was taking these countries one at a time. He didn't fight everybody at the same time. He was fighting one person at a time. Now, we are seeing the same tactics. Putin took, what's the name of I forgot the name of the place now.
Estonia.
Crimea. He took Crimea free of charge. There was not one single shot. People were screaming, shouting, but nobody actually challenged him. He took it. Today, I mean, this week now, he has walked into Ukraine. Even if he has stopped in eastern Ukraine, where he has the support of ethnic Russians there, that would have been better. But now he's trying to enter into Kiev, the capital of the Ukrainian people. He wants to take the entire country. So, Shukwa, are we seeing the beginning of a third world war? Because this has to end somehow.
Yeah. Well, I wish I had a crystal ball that I could tell you the answer. But, you know, I want to point your attention to something that you said when you were analyzing, you know, what happened in the case of Hitler. He said, I want to unite them. It's all about what I want. It doesn't matter what even those people who live in those regions want.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the countries in which they are living in. And it is actually quite disrespectful and a blatant disregard for international law for you to just say, okay, because there are some people who speak your language or who are leaning,
tribe,
that then you should go and take them over. No, there are processes within international law to resolve and address such issues amicably, in which, Ukraine and Russia and, people in those regions, can resolve and address those issues. But, you can't just wake up one morning and every country is a blatant disregard for a country's sovereignty. You cannot just go into a country and just say, well, because there are people who speak your language and they are, pro-Russian, then you are going to annex it. That is wrong, first and foremost. And that's what we're saying. It's all about, bullies. If you've ever, encountered a bully in a school play yard, that is exactly what it is. It doesn't matter what you want. It's all about them. And it's because inside they are gravely insecure for whatever reason. And this is the reason why the international community must do something about this, because it doesn't matter what you give to Putin to placate him. If he will forever continue to feel insecure.
Yeah.
It's not about everybody else. It is about him.
Himself,
so this is something that must be done. And I think a couple of things very quickly. I think a lot of what we have seen in terms of response and sanctions and everything has been directed towards Russia. There is another sovereign country who has allowed themselves to be used for this. And that country is Belarus. I don't see, I'm still shocked why a lot of the sanctions that have gone towards Russia has not been imposed as well on Belarus for allowing.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
To be, for allowing their country to be used to perpetrate unjust and ungodly and evil acts. I think they are complicit and they also need to be held to account. And last but not the least, I will say, if Russia, because they have nuclear arsenals, are threatening everybody, threatening Finland, threatening any country who intervenes, I think the stakes should be on the table now that Russia must be rid and must never be allowed to have any nuclear weapons.
Thank you. Lighton, I just want to bring you back home. I want to bring us back home again to Nigeria.
Okay.
Nigeria is a very powerful country in Africa. We are the the biggest country. And we have three main tribes. We have the Fulani and the Hausa Fulani, the Yorubas, the Igbos. Now, there are Yorubas in Benin Republic, in Togo. There are Hausas in Niger Republic. So should Nigeria now say, okay, I want to claim the Yorubas in Benin Republic, or I want to claim the Hausas in Niger Republic? Is that the way international law works?
There should be, in the Charter of UNO, there is one charter, territorial integrity. Right? Each country, you must not intervene in another country problem. You must not show any aggression to other countries. You must not. It doesn't work like that. Right? But I mean, you cannot just annex another country out of another country. It's wrong. You don't do that. Right? But I mean, thank God, it's not the African country that is showing aggression now. They will have all the Western world, they will have been shouting. But now, as it is now, there are some countries that are supporting Russia. China is supporting them, Pakistan is supporting them, Belarus is supporting them, Syria is supporting them, Serbia is supporting them. Why some countries are supporting Ukraine, like USA, UK, France, all these NATO countries, Belgium, Denmark, Netherlands, and Italy? So care must be taken. I mean, we must take care the way we do this stuff. It will not for the world peace, right, and the peace to reign in the whole world. We must find a way of, if possible, to remove Putin at all costs, willingly. And like you said, DG, that if the war lasts for 1, 2, 3 weeks, then we might, if we succeed, if the Western world and the NATO they succeed in removing him, that would be better. But there's no way there will not be casualties. Right? Already there is casualty already. I saw one ammo tank overrunning a car on the street of Western Ukraine. So it's terrible to show you the type, the sort of aggression that these people are perpetrating in
Ukraine.
In Ukraine. So it's terribly bad.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, it must be cautioned.
Thank you. Thank you, Lighton.
Yes.
Demola, I want to challenge you now, because the last time you were speaking from the two sides of your mouth. You said that Americans' military budget, defense budget is twice that of all the world together and all that. I remember that when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, the Americans swiftly flew in with all their military might, and they landed in, what's the name of Iraq's capital now? And they landed in Iraqi capital and in different parts of Kuwait, and they fought gallantly to, not only to rescue Kuwait, but to remove Saddam Hussein. Why has America now not flew into Moscow if they have this military machine that you are talking about?
Okay, now two things. One, the issue about Kuwait. When it happened, America just don't flow in like that. It was the concession of the United Nations. They get a resolution from the United Nations authorizing them to rescue based on the request.
Point of disagreement. United Nations never ever gave America the right to go into Kuwait. No. They never got it.
Wait, Iraq is different.
They never got it. They never got it.
They get is a resolution. Go and check it well. The Iraq is a different story. They get a resolution that authorized them to assist.
Okay, Demola, let's leave those one. Why are they now not confronting Russia?
Now, because just as it happened in Iraq, they were during the Saddam war, so they don't get the authorization from Iraq, and they have to get a coalition of nations to get rid of Saddam. There is no resolution that agree with them at the United Nations, because that will be vetoed by Russia. That is one. Two, Russia is a different story, because if the UN agree, or they don't want to start a third war. Understand? The third world war, America don't want to start it. But Putin doesn't care. He's instigating it. But everybody cannot be crazy. But they can put him in order without even fighting him directly. Let me give you an analysis. As powerful as America is, when they went to Afghanistan, did they win the war? So what gave you the impression that Russia will win the war against Ukraine if America itself cannot even defeat Afghanistan? The world has gone beyond just it. We have a collective interest. Politics is a game of interest. When there is alliance of common interest, then it works against the aggressor. Understand? The resistance that Ukraine is having now is not doing it on its own.
Okay.
It's without the support of American weapons.
Okay. Now, Demola, for the sake of time, let me just pause you. I will come back to you. Super. With America's military might, we have unusual capabilities. We have this, we have that. With NATO bragging, we have this, we have that. Do you think they are afraid of Russia? Because each time is a case of Russia versus somebody, another country. NATO is, they are only talking rhetorics. They're only talking about economic sanctions. They will never put their soldier forward and say, we are going to outgun you. Do you think they are afraid of Russia?
To be wise is better than to be strong physically. And that is exactly what we are seeing playing out. What you are seeing is wisdom against physical powers, which if you look very well at Vladmir Putin, he always wants to project that image of the alpha male, strong and all that. the collective wisdom of the West in finding ways to address the issue, I would say non-violent ways, is a testament to Western wisdom. And it's not that they don't know what to do, or they don't know, how to pursue it. But when you are trying to deal with an issue in a non-violent manner, it may take a longer period of time to achieve your objectives. But from all indications, I think history will also agree with me that when you achieve those objectives, there's a higher likelihood that they will be long lasting. And this is one of the things that characterizes dictatorships. Dictatorships don't have the patience, the respect for other people's rights to wait for people to come around to their own policies and their own ideologies or their own agenda. It is just do as I say. Don't think, we'll think for you. That is not good. It is not in any model in alignment with even how God, who created mankind, treats his own creation. So what we are seeing playing out, it's not that the West fears Putin. Whether Putin likes it or not, he's not going to live forever. He will die one day. That's the reality. We all will, each one of us. So what the West has been doing is just, addressing this issue and coming around and dealing with it in a wise manner, not showing, prowess of, I have this or I have that. Empty barrels, they say, shout the loudest. Okay. I'm putting my nuclear weapons on alert. I'm threatening everybody. Eventually, when this all ends, we will all be shocked as to how incompetent and probably how unprepared they really were.
Thank you, Shupo. Thank you. Lighton.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask you a general question. Okay. If America tomorrow decide we want to fight with Russia, what will happen?
Yes. If America decide to fight against America, all these countries that support Russia, they will stand up against America. Like China, they've been avoiding themselves. America and China, they've been avoiding themselves. All this why, even why Donald Trump was there, President Donald Trump, right? They were trying to avoid themselves. But be as it may, my fear is America doesn't want something that can escalate into Third World War. America has the wherewithal, they have the manpower, they have the capacity, they have everything to overrun Russia. I'm telling you, I read the amount of armor they have, the military personnel, the America, all this stuff. But America, if America should go to Russia, a lot of casualty will be recorded. And all the world will be shouting upon America that this America, they will castigate America for doing such a job, killing casualty or unnecessary casualty. So these are what America doesn't want to happen. And Republican, they will gain the upper hand in saying, that is all. They said it. If Trump can manage the whole world for 4 years, so the president Biden cannot manage Russia. They will have something to say during the campaign again. So already they've been saying, okay, it's no side. He cannot do this, he cannot do that. But if he does that, the whole world will suffer. Now the price of gas has gone up by 45 cents since day before yesterday in America. So along. So you know what it means. So everybody will suffer.
Thank you, Lighton.
Welcome.
So finally, Demola, let me ask you the final question. The question I want to ask you is also very sensitive. Now, Putin thinks this is just going to be a quickie. I'm just going to, put the, send the soldiers in and like that, they're just going to overrun the place, capture the president of Ukraine, and install a new puppet, and then declare Russia the winner. But it hasn't worked out like that.
It doesn't work
at all. It doesn't work out like that. So for how long do you think this war will continue for? Do you think that Russia can sustain a prolonged war?
I'm not really happy with Russia, because what they have done is to expose their weakness. They should have stayed in a place where they are honored. Things cannot be the same again after this. Either a fight to finish or not, Russia will lose a lot of respect with community of nations.
Mm.
And it will be a prayer to the rest of the world. And Putin in himself will be ostracized one way or the other. Now, why is the West standing to call the shot this time around and not let it go? Not because of Russia alone, but because of China alone that they want to do in Taiwan. And if they let Russia get away with it, China can use the template to do the same thing to Taiwan.
Mm.
That is why the world is standing that no powerful nation should suppress lesser nation in any way. And the resistance of the Ukrainians will go on until the end. They will never give up. So there is no way that Russia will win this. And mind you, Putin was not honest and straight with the Russian people. He didn't tell them that he's defending. He's saying he's rescuing the eastern part, which are the Russian-speaking people because they are being suppressed, which is a blatant lie. But the truth is coming out of Russia. So it doesn't have the support domestically for that war. So the whole thing will break. The end point, to be honest, the loser in this will be Putin himself, not even Russia.
Okay, thank you.
At the high time they get rid of him before it break down the country.
Thank you very much, Shukwa. Russia seems to have entered into a period of a prolonged war, because as long as Western arms keep pouring into Ukraine, and Russia does not have an unlimited source of supply. When you compare arms in America, in the UK, in France, in Italy, in Germany, when you put them all together, compared to what Putin has, I mean, somebody is going to outgun somebody at the end of the day. And Ukraine has about over 40 million people. They have at least 10 million young, virile boys and girls who are ready to fight to death. How do you think this will end for Putin?
I don't know who Putin's advisors are, but I don't see any way in which this will end very well for Putin. This should never have actually started, quite honestly. I don't see how this can ever end well. There is no graceful exit, unfortunately. And what I think first and foremost, the economy of Russia is just about the economy of Texas. I mean, all together. All together.
Oh my God.
And it is very, very heavily dependent on energy.
Oil and gas, yeah.
Now, if you see what the ripple effect is now, and I will give you two examples. The Germans have announced an increase in defense spending. That's one of the first things that you'll see. And the Germans have also made a decision to build 2 liquefied natural gas terminals. What is that telling you?
Yeah,
they are all trying to use their dependence on Russian energy. That's a direct effect. BP today has decided that they will pull out 20% of their stake in one of Russia's major, oil companies. So that's the ripple effect, and they're not going to go back. Because the world realizes now that a strong, virile Russian economy
It's a threat to the world.
Basically going to terrorize the entire world.
It's a threat to the world.
So I don't see any graceful exit for this. But likely the only thing is if other Russian leaders rally quickly, end this war, take Putin out, and make whatever amends they may make or is possible, to kind of restore relations. That I think would be something that the international community may welcome as a positive sign, but obviously, with very, very watchful, eyes to see if that trend is going to continue.
Thank you, Shubo.
It's just to, temporarily placate, Western people.
Thank you. Let me just send you there. And Lighton,
yeah,
just one quick question before we close. Nigeria as a country depends 100% on wheat from Russia. So all the bread you see on the street of Agege in Lagos and everywhere, the wheat comes from Russia. Should Nigeria support Russia now or support Ukraine?
Nigeria should support Ukraine. Why should we support Russia?
What should happen to the bread?
The bread. It was the policy of policy somersault in Nigeria. Nigeria should not have been importing wheat. I remember why Jonathan was there.
Yeah, cassava bread. I remember. Cassava bread. Yeah.
They've been doing cassava bread. All of a sudden, because of people who are living fat on the importation of wheat.
They
decided to petition it. We will have been better off now. We will have been ourselves. We are acquainted ourselves with eating bread. Locally cassava bread in Nigeria. So I just don't know. And we have the cassava in large quantity. So I don't see reason why Nigeria should be supporting Russia against these people. So that is my take.
Thank you very much, Light. And so finally, I just give you guys 1 minute each, just a one-liner. Demola, I'm going to call on you first. I want you to look into the camera and advise President Putin of Russia what he should do next.
I will advise Putin. This is the meeting that they are having either tomorrow at Belarus
border.
Is a great opportunity to de-escalate the whole thing and save his face as much as possible, whatever is left now. It's very obvious now that he has miscalculated not only the reaction of the world, but also the resistance of the Ukrainians.
Thank you very much.
Going forward, we only worsen things for him. So he should use this to de-escalate and withdraw from Ukraine.
Thank you very much. Shukbo, what's the social media declaration for today?
Well, my social media declaration is that the world has done a lot in the last couple of days. The world needs to do more to help Ukraine, to shore up Ukraine, and to demonstrate to the world that what we want is fundamental human rights for citizens of every country and a world that is free of bullies, where every country can thrive and can express whatever rights they have based on their sovereignty.
Thank you very much. Mr. Adedigba.
Yes, my take is, it's like a dog destined to be hanged. He will not listen to the wisdom of the owner. So, but the whole world, those who are in support of good governance, peaceful coexistence in the whole world, right? They should rally around and fight and make sure Putin is removed from there. Willingly fight Putin to stand still. That is my take.
Thank you very much. And my own social media declaration is to President Putin. President Vladmir Putin, you are the president of the largest country in the world. You have the largest territory in the world. And of all this territory you have, you are not satisfied. This is that small land in Crimea, in Ukraine, that you want. You don't want all those large territories you have, from Russia to Vladivostok on the Pacific Sea. You are not satisfied. If you don't know, you are a bully, you are a tyrant, and you are not fit to be a president of any country. And I'm advising you today to save your face, to save the rest of us from nuclear war. Please withdraw those young boys and girls, withdraw them from Ukraine back and go back to your lines. The world will be better off without you. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Mr. Ademola Disa, I want to say a very big thank you for coming to today's meeting.
Thank you.
Mr. Olatunde, thank you very much for coming to today's meeting.
Thanks for having me.
Mr. Olalawal, thank you very much for coming to today's meeting.
Thank you for having me. I would like to thank our viewers for watching today's program. I would like to encourage you all as well to subscribe. Subscription is free, and with subscription, you will get notifications of new videos and new conversations and new discussions. Thank you for watching us, and we look forward to hearing from you.